you do not need to listen to everybody, to everything, and you don't need to implement everything either. Make your own selection, if you will.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coach Tribe podcast. Today, we have with us Lynn. Lynn is a CEO, entrepreneur, business strategist, and certified trainer with 15 plus years of experience at renowned international brands, industry pioneers, top universities, and leading companies worldwide. Today, CEO of LB Business Agency and on a mission to help other consultants, coaches, and trainers to have more profit, impact, and freedom. Don't we all want those? Lynn, it is a pleasure to have you here with us today. Hello, and how are you?
Hello to you and everybody listening. Thank you so much for that big mouthful of an introduction. Really appreciate of being here. Very excited to spend a couple of minutes or a little while with you and with all the listeners. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, it is definitely our pleasure. We're so happy to have you here with us. I know you have lots of insights and valuable lessons for our listeners. So let me ask you this actually. Why should our listeners stick around? Why should they listen to this episode in the first place?
That's a very good question. I think we learn a lot by listening to others and to draw out our own conclusions. So I'm not gonna say that all that I'm gonna say is as smart and useful and applicable to their specific business. But I think overall, especially when you're starting off or you're looking at growing your own business and you're all alone in that business, especially, you need to grasp information, gather that information. One of the best ways is podcasts such as this one, and therefore gather your own information and take out the pieces that you actually will implement. Don't listen to everything. Don't apply everything because you can't. It will be too much, and whatever works for me might not work for you. But I think overall, to gather new insights, new ideas, new thoughts, and get some inspiration. That's what I hope to spread out, so to speak, after or during this conversation. Yeah.
I love that. And just to make a side note on this, I was asking at one point one of my coaches, I was like, how can I remember all of this? Like, especially when you don't take notes or you're in informal conversation, right? Like, there's so much value sometimes, and you want to remember everything, but you cannot always remember everything. And I know he told me this: just take whatever is necessary for you now. And that really, like, that stayed with me because many
Resonated.
times it's like a lot of, we're overwhelmed, there's so much we want to learn and like know about, but we can't. And he just told me, take what's necessary for you now, and you're gonna find all of the rest, like, going onwards. So that's what I'm going to say to all of you today. Just take what's needed for you today and apply that. If it's just one thing and if you apply it, I guess that's the best thing. Anyway,
I
so
like.
just so you have so you have an idea, today we're going to talk about business strategy, we're going to talk about marketing and selling, and we're going to talk about pricing. So let's say overview on how to really build a successful business from multiple perspectives. Now, Lynn, let me ask you this. What is strategy? What is business strategy? And why should coaches care about business strategy?
Well, unless you like swimming a lot and going everywhere and not ending up where you want to be, then there's no point of following any strategy. I think strategy is exactly that. It's to help you not swim everywhere and to be very focused of where you're going, be very straightforward and direct, and therefore end up or land where you want to be. Now, you can adapt your end destination, but a strategy will help you at least stay focused, if you will. And I think that's the key thing of business strategy. Business strategy, it's literally a question of knowing where you want to go and getting the right steps towards it so that you can get results. It's tricky to answer because I think business strategy can mean many different things for many people. For me, the way that I see business strategy is that you can make it as complex and as simple as you want. For solopreneurs, that tends to be the cases for coaches, consultants, and trainers, because they tend to be just solo in their business. I think you really should not overcomplicate it. So I think, yes, you need to have some goals, because, like I said, if you don't know the destination, then you're just literally swimming to all different areas, because depending on the day, you'll just figure out something new. So to have something of a goal, I think that's smart. Now, whether you do weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals, if you do goals by doing a vision board, or if you do a goals by writing numbers on a statistics Excel sheet, it all does not matter as long as you do set goals. Now, in terms of how to get to those goals, like I said, then it becomes the strategy overall. Like, what are the steps? And again, we can overcomplicate it. As in, when we work, and I say we because I went from independent consultant to running a small agency. But initially, when I was just as a consultant, we don't need the 500 different steps and the more complex ways of next steps, right? Because you're just alone. So what I always recommend is literally having a goal, whether that's quarterly, yearly, monthly, and just come up with the next 3 steps that you need to do in order to get there. And it might seem very simple, because a lot of information out there tells you about all the complex different strategies that you need, but it can literally be just 1, 2, 3 steps that you need to do. Now, beyond business strategy, what I think is important for any business, but especially for a solopreneur, is you need to market yourself and you need to sell your services. If you don't do those 2 things, or you just try and sell, or you just try to market, you're not going to have you're not going to be taking the right steps forward to reach that business goal. If we're talking about business goals, of course. So if you want to make more money, so more profit, impact, and enjoy more freedom, if you want that, then no matter what steps that you come up with, they need to have a link with either marketing or sales. They need to be combined.
Let me ask you a clarifying question, which can be a tricky one, just again, because there are so many definitions for everything nowadays. But just for the purpose of this conversation, what is the distinction, Lynn, between business strategy, marketing strategy, and sales strategy?
The way I see it is, again, in a very simple version, maybe, but it's business strategy is the overall concept of the business. So it includes marketing, it includes sales, it includes client care or customer service, it includes your finances, it includes operations. So how are you going to do things? It includes all of those different aspects. That's the business strategy. That's overall. That's big picture. Marketing strategy is, where are my clients? Who are they? Where am I going to get them? How am I going to get them? How do I qualify that they're actually clients? How do I put my business name out there, or even me as a personal brand? That's marketing. And a strategy for marketing, so marketing strategy, is all of that combined. A sales strategy is like, okay, I now have a qualified prospect in front of me, right? A lead. Great. Based on that, how am I going to convert them into actually paying? So how I'm going to turn into having somebody reach out to me and say, okay, I'm very interested and I want to work with you, to, okay, here's my credit card, or okay, send me the invoice, or okay, I'm ready to sign and work on the project for the next 6 months or a year. So that's the selling. So when it comes to a sales strategy, it's exactly those questions that you need to ask yourself. So marketing strategy, sales strategy, they're part of your business strategy. The business strategy can be much, much bigger, because there are more things than just marketing and selling yourself.
Okay, we got the distinction. Now, I think a very important thing to ask then, Lynn, is what should coaches do and don't do when they're thinking about business strategy? And let's say there are two cases. Once those who are just getting started, setting things up, what are the things they should consider? And what about those who have been doing this for 1 2 years already, and maybe they want to start growing, scale, go towards those high ticket coaches? So what are some specific things when it comes to business strategy that they should be aware of, or even mistakes that you see other coaches doing?
Well, that's a big question. Very tricky to answer potentially shortly. For me, there are literally 5 key things that I have identified, that I find always very important, that I always recommend. And the first one is network. So what are your brand new or already in several years. But definitely when you're just starting off, your first clients, your second clients, your third round of clients, and even in the long run, if you work on your network, it's brilliant. It can really, really, really help you drastically. So when I mean with network, it's about connecting with people, not just anyone. So be specific with who you connect with. Be strategic with who you connect with, because I love it when I see on LinkedIn everybody just having 20,000 people and they just don't know the people, or they just connect with them and they don't want to hop on a call, they don't want to chat, they don't want to get to know you. And then I'm like, okay, what's the point of connecting? So be strategic who you connect with and build relationships with them. Really nurture those relationships. And I think if you do that, you will automatically get more clients. It sounds so simple, but it's so, so true. Through one of my mentorship programs that I offer, one of the things that I always say is if you're really in desperate need for clients, which coaches tend to be at times, is reach out to 100 people within your network. By the time that you reach that 100, first and foremost, you will not reach the 100. You will not get there. You will probably get stuck around 20 or 30 because you will get clients from it just by reaching out to people and having a chat. Not by asking them for money, not by asking them to buy your stuff, just nurturing relationships. So network for me, it's the number one. The second one is visibility, and I'll keep this one short because there's a lot to be said about visibility, and I can go about it for hours. But visibility, it's all a question about where you are visible and to who. So here I would really say like to select your channels. Many solopreneurs, they hear and they see and they know from businesses that you're kind of like everywhere, right? So it means that you have Instagram account, LinkedIn account, Facebook account, why not Facebook groups, company profiles, personal profiles, you go nuts. What I would recommend is pick one, get good at it. Again, focus on those relationships. Therefore, I believe in LinkedIn more, especially if you're a coach with a specific expertise that you can help people with. Um, so become visible, but strategically, smartly, and not everywhere. Just pick one channel and go. If that's Instagram for you, great. But trying to be in 3, 4 platforms at the same time, it tends to be too overwhelming. You're a solo business, meaning you don't have the resources to outsource it necessarily yet. If you're in your 3rd year, 5th year of business and you can, great, then add on. But if you cannot make it work in one platform, it doesn't mean that adding more is going to help you. So the second one is visibility. The third one is credibility. So you have to gain credibility, and you do that literally by, in my opinion, first and foremost, get results. So if you get clients and you get them results, they're going to be happy and you will get more clients. So you have to share your credibility, right? Through testimonials, through referrals or recommendations, or people sharing your stuff or things like that. But if you get results to your clients, you will gain that credibility automatically. And if you are selling stuff and marketing stuff, but you're not getting actually the results that you've been offering, then again, your credibility lacks and you will get stopped in your tracks at some point. So credibility is the third one. It's very important. The fourth one is higher standards. So a lot of people want to market and want to sell, 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 sell. They spend a lot of time on their social media, or they spend a lot of time maybe communicating with people trying to sell their stuff, but they don't spend time with their actual clients and improving what they already have. So this can literally be by building an experience for the client. So how does it go when they get the contract? Do you improve your contracts maybe every single 6 months? Do you automate some processes so it's simple for them? Do you have a nice brochure? Do you have nice stuff? Little things, but hiring or improving your actual standard with the stuff that you already have with your current clientele. So that's the fourth. And last but not least is the fifth one, which is authority. So this is again a question about getting testimonials, referrals, things like such that can clarify what you do, again, what kind of results that you bring to your clients, and put you out there as an expert, which I think is key. Whether it's an expert or a coach that really helps their clients. Now, those 5 things might sound like a lot. I think if you know those 5 and you focus on those 5, that can be your business strategy. That can literally be, if you focus on those 5 things, every single month pick out one thing, you'll get there. But yeah, it can be overwhelming. It can feel overwhelming, but I prefer focusing on those 5, and that's what we do with our clients, and they do improve in terms of getting more clients, getting better clients, getting higher paying clients, things like that, rather than just, yeah, being a bit everywhere. So keep those five in mind. It's network, visibility, credibility, your standards, and gaining authority.
Loved it. And when I ask you, I don't think I expected such a structured reply, but I'm so happy that you did because, we can literally take these pillars and just do the work on them. But like this really creates, let's say, big image, the one that we have to always have in mind when we look at our business. Now, one very interesting aspect that I want to actually go deeper into is network. And now I know you are big on LinkedIn. I know you have, I think, almost 9,000 followers on LinkedIn. And I want to ask you specifically, how do you go about that? For example, you say reach to 100 people, you're going to maybe reach to 20 by the time you get a client. So then when you say reach out to your network, it means reach out to potential clients to see if you can help them in any way, or does it mean build relationship with other coaches in the market? Like, what exactly do you mean by reach out to your network?
That's very good questions again. I think LinkedIn, the way that I see it, let me take a step back. For me, I am indeed big on LinkedIn. I started LinkedIn when I was, I believe, 18 years old, and I started with my first part-time job. And my dad told me, okay, go on LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go on LinkedIn. So I went on LinkedIn and I started off, and I started connecting with the people that I met during my part-time job. And throughout the years, every single internship, job, or things like such, or even clients, have gone from LinkedIn. And it's not just LinkedIn that offers it; it's the connections that I've made or people that I've stayed in touch with, and even indirect. So, what I mean with reaching out to your network, it can literally be just connecting with people. It sounds so simple, but it's really like it doesn't have to be only your target audience. Of course, if you want to have a full on lead generation system from LinkedIn, you need to connect with your target audience, of course. But sometimes we forget that LinkedIn is a platform for professionals. It is a platform for connecting with people, nurturing relationship, and that should be the focus first and foremost. So when I mean with outreach, it can literally be a question of just reaching out to all the people that you currently have in your network, whether that's 100 people, 200 people, 2,000, 20,000, doesn't matter, to reach out to them, no matter what they do, no matter if they're in that perfect ideal client, because you never know who knows who, if that makes sense. You never know if there's a, I don't know, I had a past high school teacher reach out to me once. Like, oh, do you this, can you do this kind of stuff too? I'm like, yes. So, great. Okay, let's hop on a call. Perfect. But it's my previous high school teacher. Like, I never thought I would speak with him again. He was a nice one, so not one of those high school teachers you never want to hear of from again. But reaching out, I just mean connecting with people, meaning sending a message to them once you've already connected, speaking with them, hearing what they do, talking with them, finding out what they're up to, asking them questions, things like such. And I know that there's a lot of information out there for lead generation, for a lot more structured things, direct messaging, having a first message, then second message, then third message. I personally believe less in it. I believe, at least for solopreneurs, right? Talking about coaches, consultants, and trainers. For corporate clients, it's a bit different, but for solopreneurs, you just need to see it as LinkedIn is like a networking event. And all the people there on LinkedIn, they're there during this networking event, which is 24/7. And you can go up to them and have chats. And some you have a chat for 2 minutes with and you immediately know, never mind. Some people you'll see from far and you're like, I don't really want to talk to you today. So fine. But at the networking event, you need to go out and speak with people. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of your time and probably money as well. So go and speak with the people at this networking event. It just happens to be online. It happens to be 24/7. And it happens to be actually more structured than a real networking event.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And that makes it more of a, how to say, entertaining thing to do when you think about
It's a
it
mindset
like
shift as
this.
well, right? So instead of seeing LinkedIn as this, oh my God, this is the place where I'm going to find out, my next client potentially, or oh my God, I didn't get a client yet. I need to go get clients here. You just see it as a networking event. It makes it much more, yeah, fun, like you say.
And curiosity as well. But now To be more specific, can you please give us some examples of things you can ask people, maybe that you already know or that you actually don't know? What are some first questions you're going to ask, or how do you even start networking with them? Like, how do you start the conversation? Hey, do you want to jump on a call and see what we have in common? Like, can you give us specific, I don't know, lines, or what do you use to start creating those connections?
I think for me it feels very natural because again I just see it as okay, this is a person that I see at a networking event. So some examples. If you if you're just starting off, right, and you're just starting to get into game of it, I would like do a big, good profile update, and then reach out to the people that you're already connecting with. Say, hey, I just updated my profile. Um, you can either ask, can you take a look at it and tell me what you think, or very excited to be back on LinkedIn again, or to be more active on LinkedIn. What have you been up to lately? Just ask them how are they, especially if they're people that you've already connected with in the past, right? So people that you actually know that you've met, especially pre-pandemic, you might have met those people. They might be your family. Okay, maybe you skip them, fine. Then you have some friends, maybe friends as well. You can just ask them maybe for advice for your LinkedIn profile, or say like, hey, I'm starting my business. If there are two or three nice things that you can say about me, put it in a testimony. One of the key things when it comes to those things is ask insights, right? Ask advice. People love giving advice. This is just pure psychology. Don't ask me how it works. It just works like that. People love giving advice. So ask them for advice on your profile or what you're up to or things like that, especially if you're in your first year or 2 years of business and you do this with people again that you've actually already met. So that's my first little chunk of advice when it comes to reaching out to people that you've already met. Ask them for advice. Second group can be like your target audience. And I think this is a tricky one because I don't like direct messages that are very clearly, wanting to make a sale. It's written on their forehead. I see them walking at the coffee part of this networking event that I imagine LinkedIn to be. If your first message, hey, how are you? But you don't know me. You don't care how I am. It's weird. So I would really try to avoid those and instead focus more on mentioning that you're looking for connecting with like-minded people or looking at growing your network. Just be honest about it. It's not like you're selling, you're just trying to grow your network. You're looking for like-minded people. Be open about that. And then what you can do in terms of a question is literally something like, are you um, are you very active on LinkedIn, or what kind of post do you like? Or you can ask some question. Again, questions, people automatically want to answer questions. That's just, I don't know why, but this is psychology 101. I do know that it works. People love answering to questions. So just ask them some simple questions, and don't make it too clear or direct that you're looking for selling. I wouldn't sell. I always like the concept more of them coming to me. So I believe of being nice, even if it's just a message of saying, it's lovely to connect, very happy with it. Let me know if I can help. Check out my profile, and if I ever can help or support you, let me know. Dot. Have a lovely weekend. Ciao. That's it. Simple. You're not pushy. You're not sending them 500 messages, following up. Then what you would do next is you would create your post. You could invite them for a webinar. There are more things that you can do. But in terms of the messaging, just be nice, be human, and don't sell. If you do that, then you already differentiate yourself from out of the hundreds and thousands of coaches, consultants, and trainers or other businesses that are trying to generate leads, through LinkedIn. So just be a human, just be nice, just connect, say, hey, what's up? What are you up to? So I think those are the
Thank you very
two main
much.
type of messaging, I guess.
Yeah, I like again that you put it into boxes. I like that you have a very structured communication, and I feel like that's very useful, especially in podcasts where people, they have their own views over things, and this makes it much more structured and clear.
The Code Tribe podcast is powered by Pensight. I want to take this opportunity to tell you more about Pensight and how much value it can provide you and your coaching business.
Penside is an all-in-one platform for coaches and educators that enables you to quickly and easily build a highly credible page and sell your knowledge with one-to-one sessions, group coaching, courses, Q&As, digital products, and bundles. Payments, scheduling, video calling, client communications, and everything else is taken care of.
All it takes is 5 minutes to set up, and it's free. It's the smartest way to kickstart your coaching business. Sign up to Penside today at pensight.com.
Now, you tapped a bit into it. So you would say that you don't necessarily do direct selling through messages. So you wouldn't have like a sales DM strategy, and you prefer for your prospects to come to you. How do you do that? Do you create content to attract them? Can you tell us more about that lead generation system that you have in place? Because if you don't invite them directly on DM on those calls, then how do you get those clients to you?
Good question. So what I tell my clients as well, and especially the clients who I do the mentorship with, is that there are 501 ways to do this. Lead generation, there are so many different ways. And at the end of the day, what I would like to share with the listeners is that you need to find the way that works for you. So no matter what I say, what I do, it might not work for you. So I'll give you some examples of different things you can do, which might make more sense. Is you can literally create content, right? Content creation is a big thing. Now you can do videos, you can do articles, you can do posts, you can do blogs, you can do whatever you like. There's so many different ways of creating content. Podcast is another thing. At the end of the day, though, you need to find out what works for you. So sometimes people follow me or they're like, but this is what I should do because I saw you do it. Or, they start with a mentorship program with me and they're like, okay, so this is what I do, or this is what I should do, or this is what I read that works very well. It's like, no. What do you enjoy doing? Do you like to write? Write articles. Do you like to talk? Ask questions, be an investigator? Then be like Maria and start your own podcast. If you are more the person that loves to be on videos and likes to edit them and likes to put them out there and share different tips and things like that, then go do that and maybe put on a YouTube channel while you're at it. There's so many different ways, but you really need to find out what you want to do. Even on LinkedIn, I know clients whereby they love direct messaging. They love just spending their day chit chatting with people and left and right having chats with certain people that, oh, I do want to know and find out more about what you actually offer because I've been chatting with you for a while. If that works for them, brilliant. If they prefer to write posts, so I like to write posts, for example. I like to share what I do, what I have been doing, what I'm up to with my clients. So I really like to write posts, sharing my journey, if you will. I went from self-employed, solo consultant in one very specific industry to running a small agency, whereby we cover multiple industries and a wide range of clientele. And I just like to share that journey, but by sharing what you're up to, you tell people what you do and therefore what you potentially could do for them. So it's automatic. But even in terms of the type of post, again, there are 500 different ways and you need to find your own voice, your own version. So I think when it comes to how can you, market yourself without selling directly, I think it's finding a way that you enjoy talking about what you're up to and what you do and what kind of topics that you might be an expert on. If you find that little method, whatever that is, you got a gold mine when it comes to marketing and therefore selling. It will come automatically after that.
I love that, honestly. And I love that you really highlight this idea of being natural in what you do, because that really comes out in your messaging in the end. So I like how you said in the beginning, choose the platform that resonates the most with you, choose the type of content that resonates the most with you, because then like the energy will shift, everything will be different, that will come more natural to you. And then of course you can take that and repurpose that in different types of content. Now, so thank you so much for sharing that idea of do something that you genuinely enjoy doing and start from there. Now, what I want to ask you, Lynn, is again, there's an overwhelming amount of information on content creation. There's so much to do, so much potential around it. But some coaches I know, they end up creating lots of content, writing blogs, filming videos, creating reels, so on and so forth. Yet it doesn't really take them anywhere because there's no strategy behind it, or there's no strategy behind it, like what type of content to create and what way to create it. So now I want to ask you, how can people use content strategically, and what should they know about using content strategically?
The very first thing that pops up that might again be sounding simple, but I know that in reality it's not that easy to do, because I might, sit here and chat with you and say all my suggestions, but I've made all of those mistakes myself as well, right? I have been on all the platforms. I think there might be a Twitter account. Please don't search me up. I don't know. I've been everywhere as well. I've done all those mistakes. When it comes to your question, I first thing that pops up is the 80-20 rule. So it's 80% of creation. It's 20% creation, sorry, and it's 80% of promoting it. So 20% you create stuff, which is great, but unless you promote it to a specific audience, and when I say specific audience, I mean your target audience, your target clients, there's no point about your content. There's absolutely no point. And that's indeed that mismatch that you're referring to. So oftentimes what we see with solopreneurs, they're creating 80% of their time and they're just promoting it 20%. And then they're wondering, it's taking me so much time to create all that content, but it's not working because they're just promoting it at 20% of the time. And oftentimes they don't have an audience big enough to actually have that conversion, right? To have that marketing and sales streamlined, and therefore to convert their leads into paying clients. So if you do content creation, I'm all for it, but make that only 20% of your time. The actual promoting of it, so putting it out there, connecting with people so that actual target audiences see that content, that's 80% of your time. So if you want to block that in your calendar, like just calculate a bit, like how much time are you actually creating content and how much time are you promoting it, right? And promoting can literally be putting out a webinar, inviting people, putting out different posts, or using one article and splitting it up into 20 posts so that you have posts to put out. It can be in many different ways, but 20% creation, 80% promotion. So I don't know, that was the main thing that just popped up for me.
I think that's super useful because again, you get into that produce, create, and then maybe you share it one time and then that's it. And there's so much value maybe in that content, and you're like, you're not utilizing it almost at all because you're just putting things out there, but they don't add up. Now, what I wanted to also ask you, Lynn, is with that lead generation system, can you tell us a bit more? How do you create such a system? How do you make those leads coming your way? Do you include content creation as part of the system, or is it a different system? Or like, what do you actually mean by creating a lead generation system, and how can you do that?
So you're very good in asking your questions. They're very tough. They're very tough for me because one of the ways that I'm very different, I think, in terms of how I run my business and what we do as an agency as well, and obviously me in terms of my mentorship as well, is that everything is bespoke. So it's very difficult to give me one answer because it all depends. Every single time you ask me a question, I want to say it depends. So for this question as well, it depends. I think at the end of the day, you need to have a system, whatever it may be, but you need a system to convert leads into paying clients. So what that may mean, especially among the coaches world, which are most of the listeners here, it tends to be calls, right? Discovery calls. So what I notice a lot with my clients is that they do a 45-minute discovery call, then they give a free coaching session sometimes, then they come up with an email whereby they share all different information, and then when they get a reply, they will give an offer, right, with maybe a PDF or a sales page or something like that. So that funnel, if you will, those steps, that's your lead generation. So it starts off with a person saying, I'm interested in working with you. But from there, what are the steps that you pull them through? And if there are 500 different steps, by step 15, that person is tired and they're going to leave that funnel. They're going to go away. You won't hear from them anymore, or they just say, it's not the right time, it's not the right price. They will come up with all the excuses. In reality, they're just saying your funnel is not top notch, like it's not working. So you need to, the easiest way to do this is literally say, okay, I have somebody interested in working with me, right? So I have them on a call, or somebody reaches out by message or email or a Twitter message, or I don't know what. But somebody says, I'm interested in working with you. What happens then? Write out all the different steps. If there are 30 steps already, remove as many as you can. It should literally be to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps max. 5 is even a lot, especially for coaches. But again, it depends, so it's difficult for me to say. But you need just a few steps to make sure that it's smooth. It needs to be an experience for them. It needs to be step by step. It needs to be very clear. And it starts with, okay, how do you want a person reach out? That's why people always say, have a call to action, right? So if you put out all this promotion, all this content stuff, start with a call to action. How do you want them to reach out? Do they send you a message? Do they book a call? Do they email you? Do they stand upside down? Whatever you want them to do, but be very, very clear. From there, you can create your steps to make sure that they convert into paying clients. Because having people interested in working with you is not going to pay the bills. You need them to actually sign contracts and pay. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Love that. It does. Again, a great lesson and reminder for all of us listening. So, create that smooth funnel, have a smooth experience, and have, those steps adding up and have a clear flow, because that really, really makes a difference. Or you can have amazing ads that work or creatives, but if your funnel is not in place, then you are sabotaging yourself.
And just to emphasize
Now,
one little thing on that is all the stuff that I said, at the end of the day, you need to find out what works for you. So many people will talk about funnels and about what is smart for them or for others. But you need to create and find out what works for you and tweak around until you get it.
Exactly. So, and that also comes with experience. So there's no
Absolutely.
there's no way, there's no, shortcut. You got to put in the work. Now, I would, Lynn, keep asking you questions. There's so much I can ask, and there's so much value. But I want to ask you one more before we go, and that is, how should coaches go about pricing strategy? So if we didn't talk about a lot of different subjects, let me throw in this one as well, just to spice it up a bit more. Give us some tips, some to-dos, some mistakes. What do we have to know when it comes to pricing?
That's indeed a big one. Pricing in literally 1 or 2 minutes. So first and foremost,
that's my specialty.
First and foremost, it depends. So I think that's the shortest answer that I can give you. Second is maybe that pricing is not set in stone. So if you hear or see other people telling you that should be that price, that should be that price, no. You need to figure out what the market is willing to pay for it, what type of audience you want to target, and what pricing you feel aligned with. So for me, for example, we're very much focused on high-end clients, increasing your prices and all of that. But if it does not feel aligned with you yet, then there's no point in just increasing the pricing. I also think that your standard needs to be aligned with it as well, right? So if you, I don't want to say bad service, but if you are just at the starting stages and you're not that smooth yet in terms of your customer experience, then maybe the pricing needs to reflect that. But at the same time, if you have high value, then the pricing again needs to reflect it. So it's a very tricky question to say short, but indeed, 1, it depends. 2, it is not set in stone. 3, you need to do whatever the hell you want and what feels aligned with you. 4, you need to find clients for it. So if there's nobody willing to pay that kind of amount of money for that kind of value, then you have a problem. And the 5th is, no matter what price that you put out there or what you decide on, it needs to reflect not just with the service or value itself, but also when you market it. So through marketing, if you're not clear on that pricing, then you will attract the wrong type of people again. So maybe that's the quick 5 things in a very short period of time, but all about pricing.
See, Lynn, that's why I like to ask you these big questions, because you break them down so easily that it seems like, one small question. Look, what a structured answer. Now, one, just one follow-up question, because you mentioned, if no one pays for your offers, then there might be an issue. But I also heard that, there are clients to pay any sort of price if you know enough how to market it and you back it up. So I wanted to ask you, what's your view on that? So are those people who say that, you can have a huge price and there will be people to want to buy it if you position yourself good enough? What's your view on that?
They're partially right. Um, if you do position yourself well, there are very likely people willing to pay that amount, but it needs to feel aligned, like I said. So it needs to feel aligned with you as a person. So if you know that that amount is the biggest amount that you've ever dropped down, then you might not feel ready for that yet. So you need to be able to realize yourself, first and foremost, that that price is the value that you give. If you don't feel it, it's gonna shine through everything. So I don't know how spiritual everybody is, but energy, there is something about it, and it will shine through. So you need to feel the value of it, and the client needs to see it as well, or the prospect at this stage, right? So the prospect needs to see that value as well and be ready to pay that amount of money. So positioning, yes, it's a very, very big thing, but it's not just that. There comes more to play.
I love it. I think it's such a great way to end this beautiful conversation with the idea that, you have to be aligned with your actions, with your messaging, with your pricing. That doesn't have to be, don't push yourself out of the comfort zone. It just means that, it has to be, I don't know, it's in a way natural, but in a way, it resonates with you. It's you. Because I am a really, let's say, I support and a lot this idea of putting yourself out there in your offer, in what you're doing. So, and I think less transparent, as you were saying, energy, people feel it. People are not stupid. The confidence, everything in the end adds up. And the more authentic and genuine you are with who you are, first of all, and then with everything you do as an offer or relationship, everything, I think that's where the real power comes from. Anyway,
I
that's just, I thought it was a
I
nice way
totally
to.
agree. And just maybe one way to add to that is that oftentimes we forget that selling in reality is helping people. So why did you start off your business? What do you want to do? So for me, for example, I have a small agency right now. We have small, medium sized businesses and entrepreneurs to literally, accelerate their growth through our bespoke marketing and sales solutions. But what I'm also very passionate about is indeed to help these solopreneurs that I was one day, to help them grow and get more clients more easily with more confidence, because it can be with more ease. And I don't see selling as selling. I see selling as I'm looking out there to see who I can help, no matter who that is. So if I can help you, then reach out, and I think that's what we oftentimes forget. Selling is helping. Look out there. Who can you help?
I love that. I love that. So, if all of you out there who have been sticking to the end, if you feel like, Lynn can help you with anything, and I'm sure she can on many, many aspects, as you have seen, we've been literally going through so many pillars of a coaching business. Reach out to her. Lynn, where can people find you and learn more about you?
First and foremost, the easiest is definitely on LinkedIn. That's really my little hub that is always up to date, where I always share what's going in my life, where we can connect easy, where we can have a chit chat. Um, don't be shy, connect with me, have a bit of a chat. I will not be immediately selling to you. Like I just like to speak with people. I'm on podcast nowadays a lot because, as you may notice, I like to just talk. So just reach out. And secondly, obviously, my website is there as well, in case you want to find out more about the corporate more B2B services that we have.
Awesome. Well, first of all, if you reach out to Lynn on LinkedIn, you can start applying the things that she taught us today. No pressure. And second of all of the links, the LinkedIn, the website, and more, you can find out on her Penside page, where, you can, it's much easier to navigate. So good starting point. Now, Lynn, thank you so much. This has been super useful. I honestly would have liked to ask you many more questions, but
I can come back maybe.
it's always like this. For sure. And thank you to the audience who listened till the end. And any last words for us, for the world out there?
It's literally to stay true to yourself and to find your own way, and your own way when it comes to marketing and selling. Don't get overwhelmed. There so much advice out there. You do not need to listen to everybody, to everything, and you don't need to implement everything either. Make your own selection, if you will.
Beautiful way. Beautiful way. Well, what to say then? Just wishing you all a beautiful day. A big thank you, Lynn, again. And see you all for the next episode of the Coach Drive podcast. See ya. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
We'll be releasing every Wednesday, so make sure to
Subscribe
and rate us 5 stars where you're listening to this show to give others a chance to discover it too.